On a night colder than fear itself, a mother drove through a blizzard, her only prayer to get her baby home safely. But fate, it seemed, had chosen a different road for them. The storm raged. The wind howled like a hungry beast, and inside the car, she whispered to her son, "Stay with me, Noah. We're almost there." Then, a blinding flash of light, the screech of tires on ice, and the sickening crunch of metal against snow, and then darkness. When the world stopped spinning, only one tiny heartbeat echoed in the suffocating cold. Inside the mangled car, amidst shattered glass, the mother lay still, lost to the world. But her baby, Noah, began to cry softly. With no warmth but his own fragile breath, the infant sat alone in a world that had suddenly, violently, turned white. As dawn broke, the search began. Rescue teams gathered, but the relentless storm grounded the helicopters. The conditions were impossible. "No visibility," a rescuer announced. "We'll have to search on foot." Noah's father, his face a mask of desperation, pleaded with them, "My wife, my son, please find them." But no one knew that time was already a thief, and the cold takes no prisoners. Back in the car, the hours bled into a full day. The mother remained unconscious. The baby shivered, his weak cries swallowed by the wind. Hunger gnawed at him. The cold seeped into his bones. Yet something stronger held on, a will to live that no one could possibly comprehend. On the second night, the temperature plummeted to a level no infant had ever been known to survive. The snow fell relentlessly, burying the car almost completely. Noah's breaths became shallow, faltering. It seemed the end was near. But miracles, they say, come in many forms. Some arrive on wings, and some come as fur. In the distance, a pack of wolves appeared, their eyes glowing in the gloom. A rescuer's voice, carried on the wind, noted the tracks. Maybe deer, maybe wolves. Wolves are not known for their mercy. But that night, the wild seemed to remember its heart. A lone wolf broke from the pack, approached the buried car, and laid down beside it, its body a furnace against the frozen metal, warming the small life within. Through the night, the animal curled up near the window, a silent guardian sharing the heat of its own life with a life still just learning to breathe. Inside, the baby's breathing steadied. A tiny hand pressed against the frosted glass, a silent connection between the helpless and the wild. 3 souls in the snow, one unconscious, one defenseless, and one entirely unexpected protector. On the third day, the storm finally broke, and the rescue teams pushed deeper into the mountains. We found wolf tracks. Going in circles, one of them observed. Noah's father's heart leaped. Could it be? The lead rescuer shook his head in wonder. Wolves don't circle prey, they circle things they're protecting. Those circles in the snow became breadcrumbs of hope, leading them forward. Finally, they reached a snow-covered hill where the faint outline of a car emerged from the drifts. Over here, we found a vehicle. A rescuer shouted. They smashed the window, and a faint, weak cry met their ears. "Noah is he," the father screamed, his voice cracking with terror and hope. A rescuer reached in and carefully lifted the baby out. "He's alive. He's actually alive," he said, his voice filled with utter astonishment. 3 days, 72 hours. Alone? In a storm that should have claimed any living soul. Yet against all odds, the baby's heart still beat. At the hospital, the doctors were baffled. Severe hypothermia, but, miraculously, no frostbite. Bruising, but his vitals are stable. "This is impossible," one doctor murmured, shaking his head. The father, tears streaming down his face, asked the question on everyone's mind. How did he survive? A nurse replied softly. Something warmed him. Something stayed with him. Scientists tried to explain it with theories of survival. The local villagers called it destiny. But some whispered that the forest itself had answered a mother's final desperate prayer. Months later, the father returned to the crash site, holding Noah in his arms. The sun was setting, casting long shadows through the trees. He looked down at his son and whispered, "You weren't alone out here, were you?" Asifin answer. The baby turned his head and looked toward the tree line, and there, standing silently, was a lone wolf, watching Tem before it turned and vanished back into the woods. Some stories rewrite everything we believe is possible. Some lives are carried by a love so powerful it defies all logic. Even when that love comes from the wild. The baby survived 72 hours in the snow, and to this day, no one can truly explain how.